Hey guys, welcome to the Wrestling Escape Pod and welcome to a very different Wrestling Escape Pod. Of course, I am still in my black void, but Tommy is clearly in a different location. Tommy, do you want to reveal some details as to what's going on? Have you been kicked out? Have the trees taken over? Have you moved in with Svetlana? No. What's going on?
No. I wish, Daze, but basically, like any cultured American, I go down to the water source. And where is the best water source in America? Martha's Vineyard on Cape Cod. It's where the presidents spend their summer, so I figure I am as important as an American president. So I had to ship down here right away, so... That's where I am. That's what I do.
Well, look, you definitely are as important as a president. I can tell you for now, it is your face that is on the money I use. I always get I've got a little pictures of Tommy that I always stick. I actually cover it over the Queen.
That's awesome.
I cover it over the Queen on the back. And that's the notes that I use. I won't use any other currency. I do get some strange looks, but the other thing as well is you said, where do Americans go for their water source? I always thought it was Typhoon Lagoon. I thought Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach or, you know, any of those kind of... Those, in my mind, that's where all Americans go with, you know, buckets, and that's where you sees you through the winter, you know?
Unfortunately not, Daze. Unfortunately not. Yeah.
Not because in my mind the Canadians all go to Niagara Falls. We have to just go down to the Thames.
Half of it is ours.
Is it really? Oh, it is, isn't it? Yeah, it's kind of across.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do you know which bit yet? Have you divvied it up? Have you figured?
I feel like Canadians will say it's all of theirs, and we'd say it's all of ours. So speaking of New York. State for the episode.
Yes.
Because each episode, because we're already talking about New York, so shout out New York.
I tell you what, we're getting through some stuff here, aren't we? We're ticking some things up.
Yeah.
New York, shout out to you. Yep. I would sing that Empire State of Mind, but first of all, we would definitely lose listeners. Second of all, C point one. So very much. Well done, New York. This is for you. This is also for Extreme Rules, because it is Extreme Rules on Sunday. This Sunday, at the time of recording this, Extreme Rules 2020. It's called The Horror Show at Extreme Rules. Have you heard anything about this year's show?
That there's going to be an eye for an eye match. And I feel like Rey Mysterio is going to lose.
Yeah.
And he's going to lose his eye and just become Rey Mysterio.
Yes. He's going to lose
Because I can't see Seth Rollins becoming Seth Rollins.
No, you're right. I never even thought about that. He's going to become Rey Mysterio. You're absolutely right. Do you know, look, this is why YouTube needs you back. Because there's no one... There's no one that's figured this out. There's no one that's coming up with this stuff. There's just there's a void out there, Tommy. There's a void out there.
There's a void of dumb thinkers.
I'm telling you. I'm just pleased that we're able to capture these at least in this podcast, and at least they're not just going to waste. Do you know what I mean? So
yes.
So look, I'm not sold on it personally. Like apparently WWE are fine with this stipulation. It's all above board. Their hands are tied. This is what Ray wants. Eye for an eye. Loser's going to lose their eye. There's not. What can we do? What, you know, it's all above board. It's been sanctioned, and it's a bit strange.
It's a real shame.
Yeah, it's a little bit bizarre, but we got that. We've also got the Wyatt Swamp match. Don't know if you heard about that. It's a match. Nope. It's a match
with Braun.
Yep. And
yes.
And it's taking place at Bray Wyatt's Swamp.
He invited him over?
He's invited him over. to the swamp. I think they're going to have some dinner and dancing. And
is someone going to make Doritos? No, you don't make Doritos. You buy Doritos. Someone going to make pizza rolls? Maybe Bray's mom?
Bray's mom's going to be there. Yes.
Cool.
Mother Abigail is going to be there, and Sister Abigail, the sister of Bray, will be there as well. I think Brother Abigail
she's
is there.
having a sleepover.
I think the whole Abigail family is going to be there. Yeah,
she's having with her hot friends.
That's
her
right.
Hot friends. So Bray was like, "Yo, Braun, you got to come over. My sister Abigail, she's having her hot friends over tonight. Let's things get crazy when she has slumber parties." I know what this is gonna be like.
You should. All I'm thinking is you should go. Do you know what I mean? You're on vacation anyway. That says to me that you haven't got work. Like,
nope.
Hot slumber parties straight away. I'm thinking Tommy Toy Travels.
Yeah.
You need to get there.
I'm on my way.
You need to get there.
Be peeking through the pinhole.
Secretly,
and I'll be the one to lose my eye because someone will be like, "What's that?" Yeah. That's the plot twist.
There's no eye for you to lose, though, is there? Tommy Toy Travels. I very quickly just ran through that in my head, and I am so good at the alphabet. My brain just went. There's no eye in any of that.
That's awesome, but you are not safe.
He has already lost all of his eyes. So, right, let's talk about Extreme Rules anyway. That is the topic of this episode. Shall I start off with a bit of history?
If you want, let's twist it, and I'll start off with some history.
I do want. Let's do it.
Okay, so the WWE Extreme Rule pay-per-view started in 2009. It was basically a renaming of the One Night Stand pay-per-view, which was started because of WWE ECW. But cool thing about the Extreme Rules pay-per-view is that they didn't introduce an Extreme Rules match until the second Extreme Rules pay-per-view in 2010.
Very cool. Yeah, brilliant. The only other bits I would just add to that is obviously ECW went away in 2001, 2002. And they released a DVD called The Rise and Fall of ECW. The success of that DVD changed a lot of stuff because they didn't expect that DVD to do as well as it did. It went on to be one of the biggest selling WWE DVDs ever. It was right up there with some of the biggest WrestleManias, which was crazy. So out of that, they said, this was at the end of 2004, sorry. After that, they were like, we've got to capitalize on this. So they did a show in 2005, One Night Stand. Because that's what it was. It was One Night Stand. It was a one-time show, 2005, ECW, thanks for the memories kind of a thing. That was a massive success as well. So they've got this massively successful DVD, massively successful show. And of course, Vince is like, well, let's do that again. So they did it again in 2006. And then, as you rightfully said, One Night Stand became a thing that kept happening every year. But then 2009, they changed it and it became Extreme Rules. So, it kind of came out of all of that ECW stuff. And I just think that's really cool this pay-per-view, this whenever you think of Extreme, you always think, or I always think, ECW. And it's just really great that this actually does have connections to it, which...
because when you think of the name Extreme, it's Extreme Championship Wrestling, ECW, so they're honoring that tradition by naming it that way. And some might say, Extreme Rules, what does that mean? Why not just say no disqualification? But that would... I don't know. I don't think that has the zing that Extreme Rules has as a pay-per-view title.
I'm not even sure that would fit onto the ring apron along the side of the ring. No disqualification. We're going to need a bigger ring. So, Extreme Rules just about fits on. But in the history of Extreme Rules, there have been over 40 different match types, which I think is quite impressive to think that they could even conjure up 40 different match types. But we've had like loser leaves WWE, we've had cage matches, we've had hog pen matches, we've had strap matches, we actually had Crime Time, JTG, and of course Shad going against each other in a strap match at Extreme Rules. If you actually go back through the pay-per-view, there's some very weird and wonderful stuff. Of course, you've got like street fights and a lot of things along those lines. But yeah, I mean, an eye for an eye is just going to be another that gets added to a pretty long list of already quite quirky matches. So yeah, very cool. Did you have any other history bits you wanted to touch on, or any matches in particular? No, that was it. We're done with the history.
Yeah, that was it with the history for me, yeah.
Hey, look, in fairness, that's all the points I had, so loving it.
Okay, cool.
Loving it.
What's your favorite?
What, Extreme Rules?
Like, what do you want to lift up?
I want to lift up just how great Extreme Rules is, actually. Like, it's been very interesting. I've seen the shows, obviously each year that they've been on, but a lot of them I've never gone back to because it's a B show. It's a show that is not SummerSlam, not Survivor Series, not WrestleMania, not Royal Rumble, not Money in the Bank. So it's a show that is a throwaway, in all fairness, you know? It's never going to get the press that the big shows get. It's never going to be in a stadium or anything like this. It's never going to get anything like that. It's always going to be an arena. And yeah, it never really gets the build. It never really gets the major matches. But what I would like to lift up, what I would like to highlight is actually, considering that this is a B show, it's probably the best B show they've got. It's actually a really, really good show. A lot of people, myself included, always look at it and go, WWE are a PG product. How can they do Extreme? And if you go into it that mindset, you're going to largely be right. How can you do Extreme with a PG product? But they do tend to push it as far as they can when it comes to Extreme Rules, the show. And I've got to tell you, consistently, they keep getting, like, Dave Meltzer keeps giving them 4 stars, 4.5 stars, consistently across Extreme Rules throughout its history. 2012, we got Cena against Brock Lesnar. This was a big moment as well because WrestleMania 28 was the most bought WrestleMania ever, and the very next pay-per-view was Extreme Rules. How do you keep that interest going? How do you keep people tuned in when you've just had the biggest WrestleMania, the most bought WrestleMania, and your next show's coming up, it's Extreme Rules, it's a B show. What do you do to keep that momentum going? You bring in Brock Lesnar. The night after WrestleMania 28 is the night that Brock Lesnar returns. So his first pay-per-view back after being away and going to New Japan and doing UFC and all of that stuff, his first show back was Extreme Rules. Main event against John Cena. And spoiler, this is a spoiler, John Cena wins that match, and that's what everyone remembers is you know what I mean? Why have they done that? Why have they brought the former UFC heavyweight champion back to have I mean, like, this doesn't make any sense. But I believe at the time he only came back for a few dates, and they didn't know that he was still going to be around years later. So it was just kind of bring him back, get the press, put Cena over, maybe use him again down the road. That was, I think, the thought process. Obviously, I think if he was sticking around, they probably would have approached it a different way. But that match, Meltzer, this is a Brock Lesnar match. Meltzer gives that match 4.5 stars. And we actually watched it again on the Wrestling Daze channel the other day, and it is a decent match. I mean, it's pretty brutal because right at the start, Brock goes in, throws like massive strikes, grates his forearm over the head of Cena. Within the first few minutes, Cena is gushing blood. And it's like all over the ring and everything. And you know when a match has to stop because a doctor's got to come in. And, you know, you've got the one competitor over in the corner whilst they're tending to someone. It had that kind of drama right at the start. And it gave it that big fight feel. I mean, it had the big fight feel anyway. But all of a sudden it's like, was this meant to happen? Was the doctor meant to get involved? Like right at the beginning? And it kind of set it all up, man. But it's not just that. You've got like great matches all throughout, loads of matches that get like 4 stars, but there's quite a few that get 4.5 stars. One that I think you are gonna lead us into that got 4.5 stars: Shield versus Evolution.
Oh, I thought it was going to be WLC.
Oh, I don't know how many stars that got.
Probably 5.
I would give it 5. 5 little stars.
So, what was it? 2014? Was it 2014?
Yeah.
The Extreme Rules 2014 was one of the few that I actually watched while I was an active WWE watcher, and I loved it. I thought I had a lot of fun with it, especially kicking off with the WLC match, which going in was a comedy match. They built it up as a comedy, but El Torito and Hornswoggle totally played their part and had a kick butt match basically, and it was really fun and a great kickoff match. Kickoff matches are usually throwaways,
yes,
but not this one. This one was great. And as you said, Shields versus Evolution, where we saw the debut of Red Tista. It was just an incredible match, and the next night, right, was when Shield split, or was that next?
I think that was next. It was the night after Payback, so it's getting very close. It's getting very close to it.
It was. I don't remember much, but I just remember it was incredible.
No, it is. As I said, it gets 4.5 stars from Meltzer. I've actually just quickly searched for it on my phone. And 4.5 stars from Meltzer, Shield Evolution, as we said. And there's a great bit, always sticks in my mind, where Seth is in the crowd and you've got Triple H, I think Batista as well, beating up Dean Ambrose. And literally out of nowhere, from the heavens, Seth crossbody comes crashing down. I mean, there's no crash mat or anything like that. Just, you know, concrete floor. And, you know, it really comes down. It's such an impactful moment. And it's, you know, people are like, oh, I think there's a holy ship chant that I think that's what they say. I'm sure it's ship. I'm not sure. But that breaks out in the arena. And, it's just, again, you know, it's got that kind of, you know, big fight feel. I mean, Shield are absolutely at their zenith here. You know, they've been around for just over a year and a half at this point. As you said, we're pretty close to them breaking up. Now they're taking on, they've beaten everyone. Now they're here against one of the greatest factions of all time. Triple H, Randy Orton, Batista, Evolution getting back together. So, yeah, it was really cool. Do you remember the switching from that and going to the WLC, which was amazing as well for what it was? Meltzer only gives it 3 stars, and I think that's really harsh. But do you remember Mattel made a battle pack of it?
Yeah, they made a set, and it was awesome.
Yes, it was.
Because they were both Elite Articulation.
Yeah, Elite Articulation, and you got a little table and a little chair in with it as well. I think that the table was tiny compared to like the other tables that you would get, and it was really, really cool. That little, I think you might have got a little ladder, a little chair, and I think it was like a proper TLC thing. But I mean,
was awesome.
It was a little comedy match, but it was hard hitting as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it had comedy moments because, of course, the ladders they were getting were not proper. They were like little step ladders with a couple of steps and all this, and everything was smaller. But they treated it like it was a proper TLC, and they went for it. And fair play to them, man. Fair play to them. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Do you know another match that Mattel made a play set of, or a figures of, or something of?
I'm sure I know.
Well, I'm about to tell you. I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
I think you've got it.
Probably.
I think
don't
you've
know.
got not with you now. I'm not saying you take it on vacation.
Hints on what it could be.
Yeah, well, I'm building up. Can you sense the
Okay.
tension in the air? Oh,
No, I have no idea what you're gonna say.
oh,
It could
it's
be
exciting,
anything.
isn't it? It's exciting.
Is it Extreme Rules based?
Well, yeah, well, this happened at Extreme Rules, so yes. I'll tell you now.
Oh,
I'll tell you for free.
okay.
It's a playset. It's a playset, so it's not even a little figure. It's a playset. You get a figure in with it, right? You also, Tommy, you get a plant in this playset, and the plant was called Mitch. And
Ambrose Asylum.
The Ambrose Asylum. And you know what? I never, ever saw it or found it. I don't even think it came to the UK, that playset. It was nowhere. I think I saw you do a video on it, though. I think you got it, didn't you?
I did. I think it was a Toys R Us exclusive or something like that.
It was Network Spotlight, yes. It was Network Spotlight. So for those people, I mean, it's going to look, the image that we can put up on YouTube's going to look great for anyone that's never seen it before. But it was a very strange match because it was a cage match, and then above you had all these dangling weapons, didn't you? You had all these like dangling things that could be used. I'm trying to think what was there. There was like a mop and like a straitjacket, and I know Mitch the Plant was in the set because amazingly, Dean Ambrose had his own talk show segment called, I think, the Ambrose Asylum, and it was literally a board that said Ambrose Asylum, 2 chairs, and a plant, and he named the plant Mitch. So of course everyone's in love with Mitch, and Mitch is over. Jericho smashes and destroys Mitch, but in that playset you get Mitch. I wanted to just touch on like the longest and the shortest matches that had ever taken place. So for me, doing like research and looking back through the history, the ones that I could find the longest is Dean Ambrose versus Luke Harper. That was from 2015, and it went for just over 56 minutes. The cheeky thing about this was that it kind of ran throughout the show, so they actually went off and then they did other matches whilst this match was still going on. So it's not as if it's like, you know, an Iron Man match, then you're sitting there watching 56 minutes of action. They go off doing their thing, and then other matches go on. But technically, the match is still going on. So by the time it finishes, it clocks in at around the 56-minute mark. The shortest match in Extreme Rules history is Jeff Hardy against Shinsuke Nakamura. That clocks in at 6 seconds, and that was only a couple of years ago. It was a low blow by Nakamura, and I think it's for a title as well. That's got to be one of the quickest title changes ever. I mean, 6 seconds, that's got to be right up there. It's for United States Championship, that was for. And Nakamura picking up the win on that one. So yeah, as we said, you know, it's a really good show. It's a really kind of overlooked show. You always tend to get like something happening or good matches or some kind of talking point. And as we said, it's the show that Brock came back on. Yeah. Another thing that I think is quite interesting is Daniel Bryan, because a lot of people will have seen Daniel at WrestleMania and the whole Yeselmania and the celebrating and all of that. And people might not know really what happened after that. And what happened after that is he actually only held those titles for like 60 odd days. That was it. Because he goes on and wrestles Kane at Extreme Rules. And it's literally a week or so after Extreme Rules. I think after Extreme Rules, they go on a European tour. And it's pretty much, I mean, I was quite fortunate because I went to the London show on that tour. And I got to see Daniel Bryan compete. And I think it was like literally the next day or a couple of days later, it was announced that he was injured. And, you know, we didn't know what was going to happen. And it turns out that he'd actually lost feeling in his arm. And he was going to need neck surgery and all of this. Well, his last show following that whole WrestleMania thing was Extreme Rules in a match against Kane. And not saying that it was anything that happened in that match, but that was his last pay-per-view following that monumental moment at WrestleMania 30. Yeah, it's just kind of weird. He was out of the picture then till Royal Rumble the next year. He came back in the Rumble. He ends up going to WrestleMania. He wins the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania 31. He's scheduled for a match at Extreme Rules. The graphics made. It's all booked. It's going to be him against Wade Barrett. Never happens. The match never happens. We never get that match. We never get Daniel Bryan against Wade Barrett. Bad news, Barrett. He's done. His career's done at that point. I say his career's done. Of course, he would come back, but he would be away for 3 years then with this. You know, he'd go on to be GM and do other things, but seemingly he was done. Because his injuries he just couldn't recover from. So I do find that interesting that his last match is Extreme Rules. He manages to come back. He competes at WrestleMania. They have the graphic for the next Extreme Rules. He doesn't even get that far. And that's kind of how it all breaks down. So in many ways, that WrestleMania 30 is you know, the highlight for his that initial run. I know he gets back there when he comes back because he becomes champion again, doesn't he? Like the eco champion. You know, that kind of hemp belt.
Mm-hmm. But beautiful.
Beautiful. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And totally recycled as well, which is very important. But it's not quite the same because he was a heel that time, so it didn't really have the same feels, you know. The only other thing that I had written down, because I think we touched on the big points, you know, we know the history of Extreme Rules, we know some of the matches that have taken place, we know that, you know, it's one of the better B shows, and we know some of the crazy things they've done as well with the Ambrose Asylum, and that, I don't know if anything's going to top this eye for an eye. We obviously can't talk about it yet because we haven't seen it yet, but I don't know, I've got my reservations about it. But yeah, I mean, there's other things like the Women's Championship. This is just an example that I found. I wanted to find a wacky example of something that had happened. The Women's Championship was defended in an extreme makeover match. They did an extreme makeover match. This was Michelle McCool against Beth Phoenix. These are two great workers. These aren't like two jobbing females. I mean, the title's on the line for starters. But this is Michelle McCool and Beth Phoenix, and they're having a match. And literally, I think you can just use the objects that are at ringside. But of course, there's like a table that's full of different makeups, right? And things like this, right? But they've got mops and ironing boards and just like a bucket of water and all this kind of, it's so just... You look at it, I mean, it wasn't great at the time, but you look at it now and you go, wow, that is so sexist and so inappropriate and so out of touch, out of place, out of everything. It's just so out. So yeah, you know, I do have time for Extreme Rules. I do think that, you know, they tend to try some stuff. Not everything they try is brilliant. Let's make sure that message gets out there.
Yeah.
Not everything they try is brilliant. So, but yeah, this year's show should be fun. We've got some good matches in 2020. We've got Asuka against Sasha Banks, which if they give that match time, that should be great. You know, and there's no ironing boards at ringside or anything like that for this one.
Let's hope not.
No, Bayley, Nikki Cross is another match which could be okay. Do you know they're doing Big Show against Randy Orton, which I don't know if that sounds great.
I saw that Survivor Series. What was that? 2013, 2012. That was an awesome match. It blew down the house.
I gotta tell you, man, the build for this has been quite good. It's been all right. Yeah, it's been all right. You'd think it would be awful, but Big Show's not approaching this in a comedy way. Randy has taken out Edge and he's taken out Christian, not for dinner, but like, do you know what I mean? And Big Show's kind of obviously really peeved about it. Orton's bringing back his kind of legend killer gimmick, so Big Show's perfect for him. And they've been talking about the history. Ric Flair's been getting involved. There's been some great promos, certainly on the Go Home show. So I'd be the first to poke a bit of fun at Big Show and Randy Orton, but the build for it's been all right. I'm all right with seeing how it's going to go. And obviously Randy just did that greatest wrestling match ever against Edge this year. And it was really good. It was a great match. It's getting universal praise, that match. So, they're on a bit. Randy Orton is having a great 2020. A great 2020.
He is.
So I really am keeping my fingers crossed that this is going to deliver this show, because I really want it to. I really, really want it to.
Yeah. They can tape.
Yeah, do cinematic.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can tape.
They can tape.
You know?
They can tape.
Yeah.
The cinematic stuff. They have got plans to do that. They are going to do that with.
They're going to tape.
They're going to tape. Yes. I think you're slowly. Yeah, I don't know where you are, but I get the feeling you're slowly shutting down, like mentally, just.
It's vacation mode.
It's vacation
mode. What
mode.
can I say? Yeah.
Vacation mode. Ba 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 ba.
The internet is so bad that I fear I'm gonna start talking and then it's just gonna cut off my voice and you're just gonna be like, what?
Oh, do you know what? It's really funny. As you said voice, it did go a little bit off then. It did actually wobble. There has been a few wobbles throughout this stream, but I think people will fully understand that you are on vacation. So
I am on vacation.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It is what it is. And
I'm stealing my neighbor's Wi-Fi.
Nice. Thank you, Svetlana. Thank you, Svetlana.
Finally.
Amazing. Right, well, look, with that then, I mean, because it is wobbly Wi-Fi, I think we can wrap it up there. I mean, there was other matches that we could dip into and talk about, but as I said, I think we've hit all the main points, you know. I want you to be able to go and enjoy the rest of your vacation. So.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. It's going to be a long one, though.
Have you got anything nice planned?
No.
No.
Yeah.
You're not.
There's no savers down here.
Oh, gutting. Why would you even go to a place that didn't have a savers? That'd be the first thing you should look for.
It's the type of thing where it was like I gave up some personal pleasures to feel like I'm better than other people.
Fair play. That is a great answer. That is a great answer. And on that answer, we are going to say goodbye. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, this look at Extreme Rules. I'm sure you will join me in wishing Tommy a fantastic vacation. Hopefully he figures out something fun to do whilst he is on vacation. And then he can share all of his antics and wacky stories with us in the future. So awesome, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully see you again next time. Bye for now.